Second one is unstructured interview. Unstructured interview, the name indicates it doesn't have any structure. So there is no prepared or predefined questions nor any order. In the unstructured interview, the interviewer may ask begin with any question. So there is no predefined questions. He may begin with the date. For example, if you start with a structured question, first, what is your name? So what is your age? So what is your gender? So this is the structure. So every person get the same first question is the what is your name? But in an unstructured one, so there is no begin with the what is your gender, what is your address, what is your age. So later you can ask what is your name. Okay, there is no predefined or any order. So the interviewer has the freedom to ask any question. Ask any question in any order. So it is a flexibility method to collect the data. Okay, so that if it is an unstructured one, so there is no need to follow any question order. So you can dig deeper. So deep questions you can ask. So based on whatever answer he has given, so based on that you can prepare your own question and you can ask. In a structured one, only you have to ask the whatever question written. That one. Here in a unstructured one, you can frame your own questions based on the response from the respondent. You can create your own questions and ask so that you will get the deep understanding of the respondent. Okay. Based on the response from the respondent, you can mold your questions or you may able to modify. Okay. So if you watch any television channels, sometimes the anchor asks the questions whatever prepared earlier. So without focusing on the answers, they will ask she or he will ask the sequential order. But sometimes anchors, so based on their response, getting from the respondent, they choose to ask different questions. Are you following?
Sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Amjad, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So somebody is also joined. Somebody, 1 second, sorry. So there is no power in our locality. So, am I visible now? అనిపిస్తున్నానా?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, now you are allowed to show that slides and all.
Yeah, I'm trying to show that one. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Can you see this scribbling notes?
Yes, sir.
Prepared. Okay. So that I can turn off my mobile. So there is no power in our localities. Okay. So what are the disadvantages with the unstructured question? So in the structured question, structured interview, you have a chance to whatever, sorry. In a structured one, you don't have a chance to raise the questions. You have to follow the only written question, whatever we predefined. But in an unstructured one, so you can raise, you can, based on your answer getting. So you can mold your questions. So you can ask deeper questions based on your answers, based on their answers. Okay. So what are the disadvantages? Okay. So here, so personal bias or personal influence. That means, so sometimes they answer the one question. So there is a possibility to ask another angle, but you are not asking in a particular way, that way. Instead of that, you are choosing another because you have a predefined bias. Okay. So based on, maybe it may be based on your uh, experience, based on your feelings, on your, there are different criteria. So you have a bias to particular people. So you may ask, so there is a possibility of bias. Okay. Here you need a skills, greater skills. So you need to very much tactful, intelligent, deeper knowledge of subject. Earlier in a structured one, so you doesn't read any, you don't, doesn't require any knowledge or skills because already questions are there. You have to go and ask the questions. But here in unstructured one, so there is no questions. Okay, so you need to create a questions. You need to prepare a questions based on the answer you are getting from the respondents. For that, you need to have a greater skills, tactfulness or intelligence, a deeper knowledge of subject. This is a very important. So, for example, if you want to ask a questions on a uh, recent example, what is the example? What is the news story recently? So, India and Ukraine relations. So, you want to preparing a report on the India and Ukrainian relations. So, our Prime Minister visited Ukraine recently. So based on that, you should have a thorough knowledge of Ukraine and India relationships and the situation about the Russia and Ukraine war. So you should have a, based on that, you can create on your own questions. That needs the lot of knowledge of subject. So here another disadvantage with the unstructured one. So in the previous structured one, you have a sixth question is related to uh, the advantages. Sorry, I can, which topic we should, based on the topic. The question is, so you have a sixth one is common to all the respondents. But here in unstructured one, sixth question may be anything based on his answers of previous questions. So here it is a very difficult to quantify or to analyze the answers you are getting. Got it? ఏం లేదు, సింపుల్. సో ఇన్ స్ట్రక్చర్డ్ వన్ ఒక క్వశ్చన్ ఉంటుంది, దానికి ఒక ఆన్సర్ ఇస్తారు వాడు. సెకండ్ క్వశ్చన్ ఈస్ వన్ క్వశ్చన్ అండ్ యూ విల్ గెట్ అ ఆన్సర్. సో ఇట్ ఇస్ అ సీక్వెన్షియల్ unstructured one. But in unstructured one, so first question may be anything, and based on that, you will prepare one question and ask the second question. So while quantifying or qualifying your data, it is very difficult. Are you getting this point?
Yes, sir.
అర్థమైంది కదా? అంటే స్ట్రక్చర్ ఉంటే ఒక క్వశ్చన్ వస్తుంది, దానికి ఆన్సర్ ఏదో ఇచ్చేస్తాం మనం. అదే
Yes,
క్వశ్చన్
sir.
లేదనుకోండి, ఎన్నో క్వశ్చన్ అడుగుతాడు, థర్డ్ క్వశ్చన్ అడుగుతాడు, కానీ ఇదంతా ఓకే. వైల్ డేటా కలెక్షన్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ఓకే, బట్ వెన్ యూ ఆర్ ప్రిపేరింగ్ ఏ డేటా ఆర్ క్వాంటిఫైయింగ్ డేటా, అనలైజింగ్ ద డేటా, ఇట్ ఇస్ వెరీ డిఫికల్ట్. సిక్స్త్ క్వశ్చన్ ఈస్ ద డిఫరెంట్ ఫ్రమ్ ఫస్ట్ ఇంటర్వ్యూయర్ టు సెకండ్ ఇంటర్వ్యూయర్, సెకండ్ ఇంటర్వ్యూ. అర్థమైందా? వై ఇట్ ఈస్ డిఫికల్ట్ టు క్వాంటిఫై అండ్ అనలైజ్ ద డేటా?
Sir,
Because
understood.
understood?
Understood.
వితౌట్
Yes,
క్వశ్చన్,
sir.
ఓకే, ఫస్ట్ క్వశ్చన్ వేరే అడుగుతాను, సెకండ్ క్వశ్చన్ వేరే అడుగుతాను. సో ఫస్ట్ పర్సన్
ఐఏఎస్ ఐపీఎస్ ఇంటర్వ్యూస్లలో కూడా అట్లాగే వాళ్ళు బోర్డ్ ఆఫ్ మెంబర్స్ వాళ్ళు అట్లనే అడుగుతారు కదా సార్. అంటే వీళ్ళు కాకుండా వాళ్ళకుంటే వీళ్ళు
no,
సినిమాలలో
not
చూపిస్తారు.
like that.
No,
No,
no.
question is, Question is different. So first question may be different for you. First question is different for another person.
లేదు సార్, వాళ్ళు చెప్పే ఆన్సర్ నుంచి ఇంకో క్వశ్చన్ అడగడానికి అవకాశం ఉంటుంది
దేంట్లో
అన్ప్రిపేర్డ్ ఉంటే.
దేంట్లో
అన్ప్రిపేర్డ్
unstructured one lo.
అన్స్ట్రక్చర్డ్
Yes,
దాంట్లో.
yes. Okay, that is while collecting the data. Okay, while collecting the data, that is the process. But when ఇదంతా మనం కోడిఫై చేయాలిగా, you need to codify the data, na? So to prepare your data, prepare your research. You need to prepare a research, you need to codify or quantify or analyze. అప్పుడు సెకండ్ క్వశ్చన్ పర్సన్ డిఫరెంట్ అవుతుంది, రైట్? బికాస్ ద క్వశ్చన్స్ ఆర్ అన్స్ట్రక్చర్డ్. ఎర్లియర్ క్వశ్చన్స్ ఏముంటే అవి అడిగారు, వాళ్ళు చెప్పిన దానికి బట్టి మనం క్వశ్చన్ అడిగాం. బట్ వైల్ ప్రిపేరింగ్ ద అవర్ క్వాంటిఫైయింగ్ ఆర్ ప్రిపేరింగ్ అనలైజింగ్ ద డేటా ద డిఫికల్ట్. ద డిసడ్వాంటేజ్ విత్ ద అన్స్ట్రక్చర్డ్ వన్ is this one, and it also required skills. So personal bias, sometimes there is a chance to ask the question, but I have a bias కాబట్టి I won't ask. Okay, to manipulate our data. Okay, these are the disadvantage. So third one is semi-structured. The name indicates, so it is neither structured nor unstructured. Okay, so you have some questions written. You ask the questions to the respondent. He will give response. Based on that answer, you can prepare and ask the another question. Okay. Otherwise, you can follow the second question, whatever you prepared. Are you getting this one? In a structured one question, second question, third question. Okay. So in a unstructured one, you will ask whatever question you like or whatever information you want to get. So based on that information, you'll create another question. You will generate another question and ask the respondent. But in a semi-structured, you'll have this 1, 2, 3 questions. But if he is answering one question, first question, and if there is a chance, you can prepare another question here also. That means the question 1.1 in the part 1. And if he answers again and give a chance to ask another question, you will create another 1.12 question. Okay. Then after completion of this question, you will go to second question. Okay. Then here, if there is a chance, okay, no chance, so then go for third question. This is semi-structured. It is the structured as well as unstructured. Okay. So what are the with this one? So you can collect the data while you were structured questionnaire, and you can also get the data by observational method. Okay, by observing also you can write the data. Okay, then so we have a predefined predefined questionnaire schedule. So then it may be open-ended or closed-ended. Okay, then it is the possible in the unstructured one also we call it as a dig deeper into the question, deeper into the respondent అనుకున్నాం కదా. So use that word, dig deeper. It is possible only in a unstructured one. And if he responds, and you can ask into that particular details in unstructured one. And go into another very few in-depth questions, and you will get the answers. Okay. So with the semi-structured, you have a predefined as well as you can generate your own questions based on your interview. So this semi-structured interview or in-depth interviews are common in qualitative data collection. Okay, this is the common because based on your observation and your question, you will get the data, qualitative data. So it may be an individual or group. That means it may be one-to-one or one-to-many. Okay, so it may last for 30 minutes to hours. So it's happen watch because sometimes, for example, if you have a 10 questions like a structured one, so in a half 15 minutes you'll finish your interview. But if it is unstructured one, it may take so number time, right? So based on his answers, and you can ask the questions whatever you require, and it may take a lot of time, hours together. Hmm? Uh, so it is also so gives a in-depth information. It may be deeper into the social, personal issues. So, for example, if you are interviewing a celebrity, so you have a predefined question, some so about movie. Usually, these actors are while promoting their new movie release, so they come to a studio. Based on that, you can ask the previous movies questions, previous experience, and the details of movie and its content. Okay, these are predefined. So based on their answers, you can create your own questions and ask into the deeper, so that you can go into deeper. Okay, so that you can ask their personal and social issues also. Okay, so that you will get a wider. So if it is a so one to one, you will ask his personal question. So you can dig deeper into the his personal, professional, everything. But if it is a one to many, so what happens here? You ask the person one, he will give say one angle, and the person two may give the second answer. So in a different way, same question, he may give a different way. Third person may give different answer for same question. So in this, you will get a different angle and a wider angle. Are you getting? సో ఇప్పుడు వన్ టు వన్ అనుకోండి, నేను ఏం చెప్తే మీరు అదే అనుకోండి, అట్లా సేమ్ మీకు ఒక డౌట్ ఉంది. సో యూ హ్యావ్ ఏ 3 or 4 ప్రొఫెసర్, సో 3 or 4 ప్రొఫెసర్ గివ్స్ ఏ డిఫరెంట్ ఆన్సర్స్, సో దట్ యుల్ గెట్ ఏ wider range of answers, right? Same way in an interview, semi-structured interview also. So if it is single one-to-one interview, okay, you'll get a personal, deeper into information. But if it is a group, so we'll get a wider range of answers. Okay. So in the group, it should be also observation of like a description of group, dynamics, analysis, everything you need to note. Note down all these things: a description of group, dynamics, how they behaving, the body non-verbal communication. It's called non-verbal communication. Also need to write down in a group interview. So advantages with the semi-structured one is the questions are prepared before, because semi-structure it is flexible while maintaining the research guidelines. So already what are the guidelines we have? So based on that, okay. So already to conduct an interview, you have some guidelines. So this information should ask, this should not ask. Okay, you have some guidelines to relate to your topic. Okay, if they give a chance to ask that question, you should not ask, because you have some guidelines, right? Okay, sometimes they tell the personal details. There is a chance to reveal the personal details also. So you should not ask. Okay, you should maintain some guidelines. Whatever guidelines you set before you were conducting the interview. Okay. So interviewer may prefer the format, whatever format they prefer, they can chance. Okay. So reliable data, because you are asking. So sometimes there are disadvantages also. So the reliable data, what is the reliable data? We can explain later in this disadvantage part. the flexible structure of a interview. So flexible means you can alter your order of questions because you have a predefined question as well as you have unstructured question. So you can flexible. There is a chance to alter your questions. So what are the disadvantage with the unstructured one? Reliability may be the question. So sometimes they so this is always there. Reliability means so we'll get the same answer from the to get the same answer from different sources. Okay, that will be a reliable. Okay, so maybe the respondent may tell the same answer or not. Okay, this is not desert. And so another point is so comparing. So based on their answers, we ask the question. No, so it is very difficult in the comparing the questions while preparing the analyzing and preparing the notes also and quantifying the notes also. Research material also it is difficult to maintain or difficult to quantify. The same with the unstructured one. The unstructured one also we discussed. No, it's a very difficult to quantify because the question order is different. The questions asked is different from one person to another person. So the here also same. So one of the unstructured there is the intensive interviews or in-depth interviews. So intensive interview, the name indicates intensive means so you in-depth or intensive means you are digging deeper into the questions to get the answers. So this intensive interview is used for smaller groups, not larger or very big groups. So it is used for smaller groups. Okay, very and what else? Very mm. So you will get very detailed. This one is very detailed about. So you have a structured questions or another unstructured question, so that you will get a detailed on a specific question or an answer. You will get a very detailed answers as well as you can ask the very specific questions also. So it allows. So in the intensive interview, it allows the lengthy observations and sometimes non-verbal responses also. How they behave, how they're interacting with other also. So you can observe. Okay. So it is like unstructured also. Like it may last for several others. Okay. Sometimes several sessions also. If it is not completed in one session, you can take another session to complete the in-depth interview. Unlike a personal interview is complete in a limited time and in a one session. But in in-depth interview, based on their questions, their answers, you can dig deeper into the respondents' answers based on the respondent answers. So it can be formed a question based on the each respondent's answer. So it's common in unstructured one. So based on their question, their answers, you can form or you can create your own questions. The success of in-depth interviews depends on the. So once you create a rapport between the interview and respondent, it will become a success. Otherwise, they may not give a proper answers in an in-depth interview. So you have to create a rapport with the respondents so that they can trust you and they give you the whatever answer they want to tell. Otherwise, they have an intention to hide their answers and give another answer. So they won't give a proper answer whatever they feel. They give you to hide their original intention and give another answer. That's the problem with the intensive interviews. So what are the advantages with the intensive interview? It provides a lot of information. So in an in-depth interview, it gives a lot of information. Okay? It provides accurate information on sensitive issues also, because it may be a one-to-one interview, no? So they can open up and they give you sensitive information also. Okay? Rapport makes it easier to approach certain topics. So if there is a topic, so if you have a rapport with the respondent, they will give you information. Otherwise, they won't. So if they don't trust you, so they won't give you the proper answers. So what are the disadvantage with the in-depth interview? So generalized liability, because means, so one, you are getting a one answer, so that may not applicable to the entire population. That is the problem. Okay. So for example, out of 100 people, so the population is 100. If 60% agreed, so you can say that okay, most of the people agreed out of 100, 60, because 60%. But in a in-depth interview, you are getting the one person in-depth interview, and you may not claim that okay, most of the people are agreed with this one, because general ability is a problem. So because you are getting a one person's interview, in-depth interview, and you are generalizing it to entire population. That is the one of the disadvantage. So this in-depth interview is usually done with the small group, small and number of people. Okay, and non-random sample. That means, so you are preconceived. Okay, I want to go this person and ask the questions. It's not a random one. Okay, non-random, like judgmental sampling or purposive sampling. They use purposive or judgmental sampling or snowball sampling. So they are all non-random samples. That means purposively, okay, this person will give the, so I'll go and ask this person, and because he's the convenient, there's another type of the convenient sampling. So I are convenient to ask this question, this person, and go and ask. So it is not random. So whoever comes to your questionnaire, so it's not a random, it is a non-random sample. Okay. So since it is a non-random, each response gives a different answers. So the same problem with the unstructured one, like in-depth also. So you have a unstructured question. So there is no standardized question. So you get a different answers. So different answers means it is the problem for while quantifying and analyzing the data. Okay. So sometimes sensitive data may be a biased one. So based on the different, based on your religion, your caste, your region, based on your gender, you am a biased sometimes, unintentionally, sometimes intentionally, sometimes unintentionally, you may be biased, or your preconceived notions, because of your preconceived. Okay, so you thought that this is the general thing. Okay, you have a preconceived notion. Based on that also, you'll ask the biased questions. Sometimes interviewers body, tone, or non-verbal cues may be effect on the respondent's answers. That means sometimes while asking the question, based on your body language, based on your tone, or whether tone means whether you are requestingly asking or commanding. Based on that also, the response answer may be change one person to person. Or non-verbal cues, like how you are behaving, how your body posture, how you are asking, or based on all these non-verbal cues, the respondent's response may be different. And it is when once it is different, it is hard to gauge. Okay, hard to calculate, hard to analyze. Okay, data analysis is very difficult. So instead of in-depth interview to one or two persons, there is a focus group interviews. FGs, we call this as FGs. FG, focus groups one. In a focus group, that means you gather more than 4 and less than 10 or 12. and sit together, and you make it as a group, and you will ask the questions. This is a focus group. Okay, the focus group respondents may be a different field. Okay, it need not be a same. So you choose as a group one 10 to 4 to 10 people, and make them as a group and ask the questions. So here you will get a different answers, right? Sometimes uh, you are the researcher or interviewer, and you are asking a group of 10 people. Okay, 10 people. So sometimes you pose one question to one person, and this question is also responded by the another person in a group. మనం గ్రూప్ లో చిట్ చాట్ చేస్తాం కదా, చిట్ చాట్ చేసినప్పుడు సో ఐ పోజ్ ద వన్ క్వశ్చన్ టు సమ్వన్. సో ఈ మే రెస్పాండ్ ఆర్ నాట్, బట్ అదర్ పర్సన్ కెన్ రెస్పాండ్. ఇది జరుగుతుంది ఇన్ ఫోకస్ గ్రూప్. సో అవుట్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ 10 people, someone will answer. Okay, or sometimes they
గ్రూప్ లో మెసేజ్ పెట్టినప్పుడు మంది ఏమైనా ఒకళ్ళు ఇద్దరికి మాత్రం తప్పనిసరిగా రచిస్తారు.
నీ వాయిస్ బ్రేక్ అవుతుంది, మళ్ళీ చెప్పు.
సార్ ఇప్పుడు ఫోకస్ గ్రూప్ కదా సార్, గ్రూప్లలో ఇప్పుడు అంటే గ్రూప్లలో మెసేజ్ పెట్టినప్పుడు అందులో నుంచి అందరికి రెస్పాన్స్ అయితే ఇవ్వరు కదా సార్, అందులో నుంచి ఒకళ్ళు ఇద్దరు మాత్రమే రెస్పాన్స్ ఇస్తారు.
ఓకే, రెస్పాన్స్ ఇది మనం ఫిజికల్ గా మనం అందరం గ్రూప్ గ్యాదర్ చేస్తాం. నాట్ సో నవే డేస్ దే యూజ్ టెక్నాలజీ ఆల్సో, లైక్ టెలికాన్ఫరెన్స్, ప్రెస్ కాన్ఫరెన్స్, సారీ ఈ టెలికాన్ఫరెన్స్ లైక్ స్కైప్, వీడియో కాల్స్ ఉన్నాయి కదా. సో ఇన్స్టెడ్ ఆఫ్ ఎర్లియర్ focus group means you need to collect physically in a one single room. Okay, and asking the questions about a particular specific topic. You have a specific topic, right? So I told in the previous class also, one of my friend did a survey, focus group interview on the impact of serials, Telugu serials on women. So she gathered 10 people, okay, and sit to all in a group, and she poses a question and they answer the question. Based on that, she takes the notes. Okay, or sometimes she may record the discussion, and based on that record, so she can analyze the data. This is the process in a focus group.
Content research.
Yeah, not a content researcher. So a content research plus a focus group, both. So content research anedemo, so first you need to analyze the content of Telugu serials. Okay, then you create one question. Okay, so and so serial has a this type of content. What do you feel about that content? Based on that content, that question, this group 10 people are sitting together, they give you answers. Okay, it's not a content analysis, it is a focus group interview. The content analysis is you need to analyze the first content. So you need to record and you need to analyze, okay, this serial has this type of content. Okay, you need to mention, okay, this type of content, this whether it related to crime, or whether it is related to violence, or it is a verbal violence, that means scolding each other, or a physical violence. So you need to quantify first.
Yes, sir.
While researching the content. So by looking at the content, then based on that content, you need to prepare a question. Okay, it may be structured or unstructured, and go to this group, focus group. Focus group is, so you are specifically focusing on a particular specific topic and choosing particular people and sit together and asking the questions. It may be 4 to 10 people. So here you need to work as a moderator. So you first you pose a question, based on that someone will answer, and instead of answering you yourself, so another respondent may respond to that question also. అంటే ఇది always 1-to-1 కాకుండా, so in between also there is a possibility. So respondent to respondent. Got it?
Yes, sir.
For example, I am the moderator. Okay, you are the respondents. You people, 10 people are joined in a focus group discussion or focus group interview. So I am asking one question to you, and so next answer, either you can give the answer or some other person will give the answer. Same answer, respondent 2, based on the respondent 2 answer, respondent 3 also raise the question or gives the answer. There is a possibility they can raise the question as well as gives the answer. అంటే ఆల్వేస్ మోడరేటర్ స్టార్ట్ చేయాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు. సో in between the group, they can raise, they can give the answer. As the moderator, in this, you need to careful about the content. Either you need to record or you need to point out the everything. So the the respondent 1 answer, respondent 1 question, respondent 3 answer, respondent 4th question. So everything you need to, right? So usually nowadays people on their sorry, 1 second, charging. 1 second, please. So in a focus group, so moderator need not to ask the question every time. The response can ask themselves also. But as a moderator, as a researcher, you need to note down all these points. Okay. So this means the FGs get more into deeper. So one question by one question, other question, one question. So you will get into deeper into the topic. So their perception, their insights, their attitudes, their experience, their beliefs, everything you can record. So usually nowadays, this focus group discussion, they switch on their mobile or they record with the camera. So everything, entire room. Later, they can analyze. They take the points also, but later it is a very easy to record in your phone or camera. While looking at the content also, while feed the footage, you can again recheck whether you noted correctly or not. It is a possible. Okay. So here, the while asking the question into deeper and deeper, you will get all these things: perception, insights, attitudes, experience, beliefs. Okay, one by one, based on your questions or based on your group questions. So, so it is very useful while gathering the subjective perspective from the stakeholders, the participant, whatever the persons. While, for example, in the previous question, నేను the impact of serials on the women అన్నాం కదా, women in a Telangana, sorry, in a Telugu states. The topic is Telugu states. So, who will be the stakeholders in our research? అప్పుడు రీసెర్చ్లో ఎవరిని పెట్టుకోవాలి మనం? గ్రూప్ ఉమెన్స్ ని పెట్టుకోవాలి, వాళ్ళే స్టేక్ హోల్డర్స్. సో దట్ యూ విల్ గెట్ ద పర్సెప్షన్, subjective information. Okay. So from the stakeholders, you will get the information, required information. So for example, women perspective and చెప్పి gents ని కూర్చోబెట్టి, so if you take gents perspective, it may be a different again. Or else if you choose a topic as a public opinion, so instead of specifying the women, serials impact on public, general public, that may include male and female. Okay, based on your topic, your subject, a specific topic. Okay, and so so it is like very useful in interpreting. So here, so based on you are collecting the data, not only collecting the data, you are observing the non-verbal cues. That means how they are feeling, how they are interacting with others also. Based on that, you can interpret all these cues and you can write your report or research. So in the qualitative data, the number is not important, right? In a qualitative, in a quantitative, it is important. Numbers, how many people you are collecting data from different sources. But in a qualitative, the non-verbal cues and the quality is very important. Even though it is a less number of people, the quality is you need to write all this information. So how to conduct the so facilitator. So if you are a researcher or facilitator, uh, not facilitator. Facilitator, you need to not just facilitating the discussion. You need to take the notes and moderate the entire group. Okay, not just taking the notes and it's not working as a technician like recording the video. Okay, not just that one. You need to moderate the entire group. Okay, uh, so if they're fighting one question, so your what do you do next? So they lead to another question instead of fighting for one question and hours together. So instead of that, and ask another question, and so that you'll get the uh, group to divert into the second question. So on. So whatever information you require. So as a facilitator, you need to ask the questions as a moderator. Okay. So for this, you need to have a note taker as well as a recorder. As technician, technician here means so it is maybe recording in a video. So that why they record the video means they record entirely, not focusing on particular person. So the entire room, because once you come back to your research center or home, so you can review whatever the notes we missed. So that by looking at the footage, you can take again the different points from the footage. That will be the advantage. So nowadays, instead of gathering all the 10 people into one single room, you can collect or you can conduct a teleconference like a Zoom call. So you can start a Zoom call and the 10 people, it is easy, the help of technology, right? Earlier, it was not possible. Either you have to go and collect, gather the people and conduct the focus group interview. Now it is very simple to using the technology. So it may be take 60 to 90 minutes, 1 hour together. Sometimes it takes more than 1.5 hours. Okay. So it is need more appropriate type of respondents. So whoever suitable for your topic, you need to select those respondents. Okay. So what are the advantages? Advantages with the focus group is it's a very quick and relatively easy to set up. Okay. So very quick. So nowadays it is very simple to gather 10 people using technology. So earlier it was some difficult. So getting all 10 into one group and making it as a starting it as a discussion. Okay. So in the previous in the beginning also we discussed, no, you will get a multiple opinion on the same question, right? If you conduct in a group, so you'll get a different perspective. Hmm? So that means you'll get insights, different whatever you don't know earlier, you'll get the insights from the FGs, focus groups. So here also same. What are disadvantages? Chances of facilitators bias. So you may sometimes you have a bias. So you may ask or may not ask. So based on the answers also, sometimes you may skip because you have some bias. అర్థమవుతుంది కదా, మనకు కొన్ని ఉంటాయి కదా, అది ఎందుకు అడుగుతాం మనం, వద్దు ఆన్సర్ ఇస్తే ఈ ఆన్సర్ ఇస్తారు కాబట్టి సమ్టైమ్స్ యూ మే స్కిప్. సో ఇది పాసిబిలిటీ ఇస్ దేర్ ఇన్ ఏ FGs. Sometimes what happens, FGs also, so there are 10 people. Okay, out of 10, only one or two people will dominate the entire discussion, or one or two people may not participate at all. Okay, it happens
Yes,
everywhere.
sir.
So it is possible. So in dominating or sometimes what happens? So we are discussing one topic. So the discussion continues and leads it to the another topic, which is not related to our topic also. Okay, this will happen in our focus groups. Are you following? Disadvantages.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Ah, sometimes what happens? We start with one topic, and take an example. So in a class of 40 people, only few people, 10 to 5 to 10 people respond to all the questions. Remaining 35, 20, 30 to 35 people may not answer. Okay.
Yes,
Sometimes
sir. Like answer.
uh, these 5 people may take it to the another topic, which is not related to our research. So this may happen in a focus group. And so to continue to organize this uh, focus group, it may be take a lot of time. So to convince the people to gather into one room, okay, to start with the discussion, it may take time consuming, right? And also it takes lot of time to analysis. Okay, that needs so well advanced plan. Okay, to conduct the FGs needed, you need to have a well advanced planning. So in a focus group, so it means a group. So here you won't get any individual information. So you get the information of group. Okay? And sometimes one group information may not be the representative of all the groups. It may be different from group to group. These are the disadvantages. Okay. So what are the advantages with the, what is the timer? 1:40 till 3 o'clock, no? Need to conduct. Okay. Another 20 minutes. Okay. So what are the advantages with the interview? So you are a greater flexibility. That means if you use structured one, so you have a chance. So you need not to work, just go and ask. So that is the flexibility. If you have an unstructured one, okay, you can you can frame your own question. It has a flexibility. Either way. So outline okay, outline okay. Chance. Okay. So it facilitate the uh, whatever answer you required. So in obtaining the whatever answer, so to get that answer, you may ask repeatedly, right? Sometimes మీరు ఎప్పుడైనా చూస్తే రిపోర్టర్ ఒకటి అడుగుతా ఉంటాడు, రెస్పాండెంట్ అసలు ఆన్సర్ ఇవ్వడు. అగైన్ ఈ కమ్ బ్యాక్ టు ఇఫ్ యూ వాచ్ దిస్ డెవిల్ అడ్వకేట్ కరెంట్ అఫైర్స్ వన్, sometimes this politician try to skip that particular question, even though they try to skip the question. So he is trying to question in another way to get the particular information. So that is possible in the interview. So whatever you desire to get the information, so it is possible in interview, and you can ask the interview himself, so you get the ready answer and quickly. Okay, investor is being sure that means here, so investigator may not be in a doubt because he himself participated in getting the information. So for example, focus group undi. Focus group is one of the type of interview kada. So naku I have a doubt whether this interview is now correct or not, because I myself participated in the interview, so I'll get the 100% okay, it is accurate. So no need to doubt. So that will give the advantage of the interviews. Disadvantages. Interviewer variability. Some, for example, interviewer may ask different questions to different respondents. Okay. For example, I want to collect the 1,000 respondents' data. I want to interview 10,000 people. Is it possible to interview 10,000 people at a time? So instead of conducting interview to 1,000 people, I will train 100 people, 100 people to how to interview a person, and I will distribute how many 100 into 10. Okay, 10 people. Okay, these 100 people will ask a 10 each. Here, out of these 100 people, they may ask differently. That means interviewer variability. One person may ask differently, another person may ask the same topic, same topic. So they differently. This is the way. It's not possible to people real researcher. So instead of that, sometimes you use this also. So we require investigators, field investigators. That means they train the field investigators and send it to the collect the data. So here you will get a variation. Okay. So while asking the same question to the respondent, will one person ask differently, another person ask differently, same question. So that is the interviewer variability. Sometimes inter-interviewer variability. So between the this interviewers, variable is also possible. Okay, and following these two things. So interviewer may be a different variation from interviewer to interviewer while asking the questions. Inter-interviewer variability means, so this out of these 100 people, there is a variation one interviewer to another interviewer. That is the disadvantage with the interview. Okay, and another one is validity and dependability of verbal responses. So sometimes, so as an interviewer, I may note verbal communication, non-verbal communication, verbal and non-verbal communication differently from others persons. Okay, for example, I may understand differently, you may understand differently. Okay, that is the disadvantage with the interview while noting the points, and it also consumes time, lot of time, because you need to get the individual, you need to 100%, you need to get a 10 interviews. Okay, variation in inherent to the interviewer content. So there is a different content. So variations, there may be a variations. While reading your information also, there are different information from person to from interviewer to interviewer. So these all are disadvantages with the interview. And so the source at error possibility of errors you will get. So attitudes of the interviewers. Okay, attitude is also impact the respondents. అంతే కదా, మరి based on our attitude, the respondents will give the answers. Okay, because same question is asked different person, you will get the different answers because of the attitude of the interviewer. మనం ఎట్లా అడిగిన దాన్ని బట్టి అవతల వాళ్ళు సమాధానం ఇస్తారు. అంటే మనం ఒకలా అడిగితే ఇంకొక ఆన్సర్ ఇస్తారు, మనం పాజిటివ్ ఒక యాంగిల్ అడిగితే ఇంకొకలాగా ఇస్తారు. Based on the interview, that means attitude of the interviewer is also error. Sometimes you get the error. So incomprehensibility. Sometimes questions may not be understood by the interview. వాళ్ళకి అర్థం కాలేదనుకో, they will give a different answer. The actual intention is different, but because of incomprehensibility, they may not understand if they not understand properly, they give you another answer. So you will get a error. Okay, lack of warmth in the situation of the interview. That means if you want in the previous session, that means in the beginning of the class, you need to maintain a rapport with the respondents అనుకున్నాం కదా, అది లేదనుకోండి, వార్మ్ లేకుండే, so we'll get a different answers. So lack of motivation in the respondents. So sometimes they give and they won't give. అయ్యకుంటే ఏమవుతుంది అనుకుంటే కూడా ఇవ్వరు రెస్పాన్స్. So duration of the interview. So sometimes it takes a lot of time, a lot of hours, a lot of days, number of days. So these are the source of errors. So in the ఇక్కడ అనుకున్నాం కదా మనం, you need 1,000 response interviews. So you trained 100 people instead of going 1,000 people. You train 100 people, and each person will interview 10 people, so that you will get 100 interviews. So what are the selection and training process? So for example, if you are a researcher, you may not get all the data. That's possible కాదు కదా. So go and ask, for example, instead of going collecting different parts of the country, you train them. For example, I want all the corners of country. Okay, ఇది మన ఇండియా. Okay, so I am here in Hyderabad. So I want to collect the data, interview from all the parts of the world to represent the Indian content. Okay, Indian context. So instead of going to entire country, I will train one person from here, 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 5 members. Okay. Okay. So you may train to these people because his localities area, his localities is very easy to communicate with the people. The culture, the cultural bias. So here in the bias, maybe a cultural bias or religious bias. సో సమ్టైమ్స్ కల్చరల్ బయాస్ అంటే మనం నమస్తే పెడితే డిఫరెంట్గా రిసీవ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు అవతల వాళ్ళు. ఓకే, సో మనం చూస్తూ ఉంటాం కదా, ఇఫ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ నమస్తే, మనం ఇట్లా వంగి చేస్తే ఒకలాగా ఫీల్ అవుతారు, వంగకుండా చేస్తే ఒకలాగా ఫీల్ అవుతారు. సో బేస్డ్ ఆన్ ద కల్చరల్ బయాస్, ఇట్స్ ద కల్చరల్. ఓకే, సేమ్ వే. సో హియర్ వైల్ ట్రైనింగ్ దిస్ 5 people, okay, you need to select the honest people. So you maintain the accuracy. So you need to adapt to the locality. Okay, and they should have a interest in collecting the data, and temperament also. So all these characters you should consider while training the your interviews. This is all about the interviewing. Okay, I hope you understand this session.
Yes, sir.
No power. No power in my local. So any doubts in the interview? So we'll not speaking another. Sir, please. The model question. So stop. Okay. So one question. So what are the types of interviews? One question, you may get the question. Another one is, so what are the advantage and disadvantage of structured? Maybe they are structured one, or unstructured, or semi-structured one. Advantage and disadvantages. Okay, or sometimes they may take ask like this. So what are the precautions, or what are the care need to take while conducting the semi-structured questionnaire, like this. So at the end of every session, you have a questions, no? So there are sample questions. Okay, I hope you understand this one. So any doubts in this? Okay. So I just conclude this session. Okay, so thank you for joining the session. I hope you understand. People are there. Amjad, any doubts?
No doubt, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Please join the next other session. Next session.
Yes, sir.